My first book called Mush. It's called Ready for Liftoff. Take your weight off. Strap your wings on. Gotta get away from you cretins, flying higher and higher, while faceless slaves feed the beast. Grow, slaughter, cook, and serve the feast. Sew the walkabout threads, strip from wheels, spin willy-nilly quality heels, shuffle feet, scuttle butt, talk the talk, and walk the walk, clod-kicking nomads, riddling cliches, in piecemeal economic class majority of days, nodding and tangling, screaming and steaming, angels falling in teams, coaxing hope from men and children, suffering guilt and schemes for flavored vodka to put out the flames. Faceless and frenzied crowds, not their pigments for a tit, sweet silk web of perks, splinters in their lips. It's a wooden cow eating the genius grass now, leisurely gone mechanical, madness had it. Horses clip-clopping through the sky, hot on the trail of a giant carrot, bobbing on the end of a string, tied to a stick unseen. Burning spear becomes the sun. Sorry, pardon me, sodomy, crying in reality, steeping in normality. Butt heads are bound to butt heads that bite shit. Bite shits, bites hit, heights hit, won't give the same satisfaction of the real tail hit. You chop down peasant trees if you can't get no pleasantries. You a pissant, pissed off, beaten down, disintegratefully muttering, Icarus is sick of us clowns. And the sin of pomegranate, sultans of Homer, keeping her down under, while up top, behemoth, violent women with bushels and bushels of rags, and frenetic mongrels drop from hot snatches to scamper about floors of life, because they were lonely. Heel, scream, bitch, moan, retort crank to 9. The lockdown boombox blares, soft rock somastatic, statistician death, equation of chaos avoidance. See its nonsense? Others anguish, sitting in the John Wilkes booth with the Donner Party and no gold. Sorry, utter ranting of wish-wash bladder, of too much peroxide, silicone and the glide, and the kind of salvation they sell on late-night television. Faces cracked and exploding, but you tip a little extra so the waitress can shoot it between her toes tonight. Gotta get high tonight, out of sight. Set a course for the midnight light. Window pane souls, squeegee a play of rage, turned to stone in its chemical cage. Jaws yawning uncertainty. Future doom cult and dread circle spirits, their wagons around teepees. Snap and rage against bludgeoning light. Clothes tumble in the drier thoughts, fall and sink. Scattered, disconnected, but all feeling the same heat. Stop the car! I'm getting out. I can't take it! Hey, look out. There's somebody coming. There's nothing you can do about it. That's okay. He ain't got long to go, so we'll forget him. Something spontaneous, possibly dangerous. Something precarious, probably not legal. Something fun, eventually lethal, but we probably won't be out that long. Ride it on a glide like that. Let it prove its groove. Slow down each mellow day and play it to the moon. And now we hurtle through the stars. The president says we're going to Mars. Just to get away from this rubbish heap. Flying higher and higher until we drown in melted glaciers. Another failed attempt at escape from cretins and their addiction to the glug glug. Slick. The bird of paradise knows no fly zone, and there is no potion too potent to the surrealist. Thus, prophet the hunter and the pusher. Still, Uncle Dave's convinced he's got a shot with the wet nurse and her soapy strokes until she slows the drip. The strap of any purse won't deny the carefree snatcher, oblivious to the ubiquitous cams, like a forearm shiver or a slapstick banana peel. On a day when the plankton are plentiful for the great fish and the thin mammals, while a lefty lays one down the middle to the tater king who whiffs on the next two dipping junk balls and won't get action from the starlets and doesn't care. His dreams buried in the depths of the mitt and his shrunken nuts. When the wet blades give to the swift sickle of the harvester who lost his lumbago in the grace of an efficient art, the news networks are on picnic. Their 12-point lines carrying the sweet smell of clean sheets and the lilac breezes that yearn to carry the laundress's perspiration to the docks, where the slime of fornicated slipper snails know no laws of friction. Just the inevitable death at the bottom of the orgy, and the larger males that take their place as females, sequentially hermaphroditic, and not likely to inbreed and weather Old Testament judgment, only to find their post-coital demise, despite shells and iron-deficient waifs, still squeamish about texture, slicker than a finger in the honey. In this lifetime, as close as my face to the pillowcase during dreams. But that's not the same. Not in the brain. It is the shadow of the Jungian field. Hollywood gets it all misty, starlit, yet flickering on U's semi-flaccid tube. And the morning doves are no match for the night bears. The call of eggs and another bottle of wine. But the hens are at rest and the grapes are greedy. Dutchtown quiets down as the blood sinks into the ground or washes into the gutters on Monday mornings when there is no words. Another sip, sleep, maybe lunch, soon a nibble, but never the whole bite in this, not in this lifetime sort of daze malaise. Here's some from Gateway to the Bush. Gateway to the Bush. Look at that beautiful art by the man, the myth, the legend. Things the sidewalks say. The sidewalks say, this is the city. The sidewalks say, you aren't there yet. They say, your car is around the corner. The sidewalks say, your feet hurt. They say you're tired. The sidewalks say, you could use some grass. They say crack, 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 crack. The sidewalks say there are better things than asphalt. They say one step at a time. The sidewalks tell you to pick up your feet. They say, your shoelaces have seen better days. The sidewalks say that these worms won't survive this heat. They say the ants are hard at work. The sidewalks say, pick it up. They say, this is the structure. The sidewalks say that these roots are powerful. The sidewalks say birds shit, dogs shit, mud and hair weaves. They say this is what used to be called a dime bag. The sidewalks say you're tripping. They say crack, 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 crack. The sidewalks say you should take a walk. They say, here are the secrets. The sidewalks say these buildings have basements. They say these buildings have weaknesses. The sidewalks say we want to know. They say, fuck television, fuck cell phones, fuck it, fuck it. The sidewalks say there is blood in the streets. They say there's blood in the soil. The sidewalks say there is injustice. They say the guy at the corner store knows. The sidewalks know the truth. They say, wait. The sidewalks say that you don't know the truth. They say you don't want to. The sidewalks are mocking you. The sidewalks say, go home and watch the footage. The sidewalks have the dirt. The sidewalks are a cover. The sidewalks say, I will bring you to a place of forgiveness. They say they know your hunger. They say the longing is only a symptom. They say that you can overcome this. The sidewalks say crack, 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 crack. The sidewalks say you can do better. They say you missed the bus. The sidewalks say you will be better. They say you're loved. They say, fuck that asshole. They say there's always tomorrow. They say there's nothing more than this. The sidewalks say that the leaves hide your shadow. The sidewalks say, look at the eclipse. They say you're not everything. They say there's no apocalypse. They say you are you. They say crack, 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 crack. The sidewalks say there is something lurking. They say you never know. The sidewalks say the meter's running. They say your luck is up. They say follow the money. They say crack, 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 crack. The sidewalks say there's no use in running. The sidewalks say fight inside the belly of the beast. They say you got this. They say you know the truth. They say these buildings are going to fall. They say that this too will pass. They say you're overthinking it. They say you're tripping. They say I'm harder than you. They say I'm better than the streets. They say crack, 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 crack. The sidewalks say there's no use in running. The sidewalks say fight inside the belly of the beast. They say you got this. They say you know the truth. And you've heard this one before. Knees knock.
Any children in the crowd?
Okay, good.
No.
Shut the fuck up! We're trying to make some music down here, jive-ass motherfuckers. John Zorn, August 1997. The Czech Republican President Václav Havel, U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, Laurie Anderson, and Lou Reed, who were talking during a Barkova show at the Knitting Factory. Their encroachment, sometimes welcome, sometimes haunting, can send a grown man to John, the pulpit, the confessional, the madhouse. The same goes for all beings. Asu, asu, yelp, wolves bay, a car explodes, little kitty cats mew. Daddy's got a squeeze box, mommy cries herself to sleep. Karen is crazed by cuckoos in the night. The blood blondes pop up and blabber in the venues while the pizzicato and the streamers die in the idiocy of Listerine stripped and fogged up ears. It can be an absolute torment. People think they've got freight trains running through their head between cotton balls and earplugs. Bob saves up for a parabolic microphone with a tipsy washing sedan windshields with a squeegee. Frank apes ducks from a blind, though he is deaf. Boom, boom, chug, chug, munch, munch. No silence. Plunging needles, perhaps, or popping pills to bring peace, but no silence. The buzz continues. And nobody knows sound like me, nobody knows sound. I hate sound to wear earplugs to work, to sleep, to everything, so I don't have to wear that sound, man, said the perturbed technician. Postal workers hummed and groaned, delivering checks to pay for the buffering, and the AC units drown out the crimes of the night. Love and happiness conquer the banal screams of youth. And during the winter months, even Bach and Beethoven are muffled in the roar of the heaters, blowing their suffocating breath to keep the anemic from teeth, chatters, and shivers. A well-placed love captures the ensuing moans, but can never take from her the past dalliances of the night and the voices for which she yearns. He'll never say, I love you. He doesn't speak English. He thinks she just wants the bang bang. Ashamed of her lisp, he mutters to himself as he backs away each morning when the sickness is at its most audible. The coffee maker percolates to the ticking of the clock. The wrinkle of the sheets recalls the nightmare and the swift machete to the femoral artery of problems with mama. The sawtoothed nuns invite Morricone to the piazza, and the nuns beg their pupils to cease before the whack, whack, whack of the rulers on bones. The couple upstairs are fucking real good now, and they aren't afraid to share. Jimmy turns up the Wu-Tang. The triggerfish and the tree shrew hump in the night. 2 till the bimbo says,
I feel like
before each dribbling diatribe. And nobody knows sound like me, nobody knows sound. I hate sound and wear earplugs to sleep, to everything, so I don't have to wear that sound, man, said the perturbed technician. On the chipper side of town, the giggling and teeing is enough to qualify. Piss drips silently down the thighs of the leaves. Breezes sing through the lips of the leaves. A broken guitar string heals itself and whispers love into a salamander's backside. The poet likes to think she is piddling her onomatopoeia into the porcelain late at night, when the neighbors quit cheering on their children, one strop after another. The muse wants some crisp exactitude. His hip pops with each step. The senator is not convinced by the beating of the hummingbird's wings. Taking a sedative only muffles life's concert, according to the Luddite. Troops stomp off to war in search of the rat-a-tat-tat of freedom and the squishy blood of the brown people. So you don't have to sell your body to the pimp with the voting system for another gallon of good. The bass player wants more vocals in the monitor. Wolf Eye signs with Sub Pop. The leaf blower shows gumption, but no horse sense. Its alarm asks for an answer. I've heard about enough out of you, mister. The release of the safety leaves only a click. The killer stomps down the hall with anger. And nobody knows sound like me. Nobody knows sound. I hate sound and wear earplugs to work, to sleep, to everything, so I don't have to wear that sound, man, said the perturbed technician. There is much fun in the gushing life source, in a blast to the brains with a blunderbuss, in a leaf rake across a certain smirk. The full moon sings its urgency in the minds of the night owls. Later, fenders crunch into each other, and a siren screams its self-importance as the doorman calls. Last call. Can you hear myself? Can you hear yourself think? Where is your inner voice, El Presidente? Can you hear that jingle, jangle, jingle? The hunger pang of the nation set to the bed of you, gargling Satan's jizzle for shizzle. Because there are rivers, because there are breezes, because there are trees blowing in those breezes. Nobody knows sound like you do, hound like you do now, like bats and sonar. A billion boots crunch broken iPods like frozen snow, and skulls of those that have held the nightmares of these masses. Brother, can you hear me? Can you see me near you? Brother, can you feel me? Is that you sing? Eat some pie or shut it. Do you remember the first time you heard Devo while John Cage hunted mushrooms and danced till his wig snapped? Remember? Ilsa was thanking God that farts were audible and munching on corn chips. Meanwhile, there was an interminable hiss in the PA, and the featured speaker could not be understood as your stomach grumbled and some chump cracked his knuckles and sucked on mentholymptus when he wasn't hacking up last night's phlegm. Schuler sneezes through a sizable schnoz. Coughlin pops a cough drop. The ball continues bouncing against the wall as the faucet drips, and a dwarf in wooden shoes does French press fuel wind sprints on the wooden floors of your fragile mind. Time to jet to Zendo, Fifi. Their encroachment, sometimes welcome, sometimes haunting, can send a grown man to the John, the pulpit, the confessional, the madhouse. The same goes for all beings. Lasu Aksu yelling, wolves bay, a car explodes, little kitty cats mew. Daddy's got a squeeze box, Mommy cries herself to sleep. Bob saves up for a parabolic microphone. Frank wears earplugs, though he is deaf. The buzz continues. The checks come in the mail to pay for the buffering, and the AC units drown out the crimes of the night. Love and happiness conquer the Maynell screams of youth, and during the winter months, even Bach and Beethoven are muffled in the roar of the heaters, blowing their suffocating breath to keep the anemic from teeth shatters and shivers. A well-placed bug captures the ensuing moans, but can never take from her the past dalliances of the night and the voices for which she yearns. He'll never say, "I love you." Ashamed of her lisp, he mutters to himself as he backs away each morning when the sickness is at its most audible. The coffee maker percolates to the ticking of the clock. The sawtooth mountains invite Morricone to the piazza, and the nuns beg their pupils to cease. On the chipper side of town, the giggling and heaving is enough to quell thought. Piss drips silently down the thighs of the plebes. Breezes sing through the lips of the leaves. A broken guitar string heals itself and whispers love into a salamander's backside. The muse wants for crisp exactitude. The listener is not convinced by the beating of the hummingbird's wings. Karen is crazed by cuckoos in the night. I've heard about enough out of you, mister. Taking a sedative only parlays the concert, according to the Luddite. Troops stomp off to war in search of the boom boom and the squishy blood of the round people, so you don't have to sell your broken iPod. The release of the safety makes a noise. The killer stomps down a hall in anger. Knees knock. The full moon sings as Peter turns off the radio and locks the gate. I think that'll do it for me. Upcoming legendary K. Curtis Lyle, and as always, Damon Smith on bass. Well, not always. When we're